Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So again, before I jump into this video, like I always do, I need to make sure that I welcome those of you who are new to the channel. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, where we're always dropping boxing related content, fight breakdowns, our own commentary, documentaries. We can do it all here. I think this is the best produced boxing YouTube channel out there currently today. I know I'm biased because it's our channel, but at the end of the day, I truly do believe that we are the best produced content out there. So make sure you become a subscriber. And for those of you who are regular patrons, we're over 24,000 subscribers now. Make sure you smash the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure that you are engaging with the content for sure. So we are, oh man, today is Wednesday. We're less than 2 weeks out, about a week and a half away from what people have told me is a huge fight in regards to Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. But again, as I, look out, across the boxing horizon, it's very difficult for me to feel that this is a big fight because I just don't feel the big fight energy. I don't see it across Twitter. I don't see it across social media. I don't see it across YouTube. Now, I do believe it's the biggest fight out there currently, and maybe we're going to feel the ramp up of the excitement associated with this fight over the next few days. But right now, it's just simply not there. But regardless, we're going to talk about it because according to Bud Crawford fans, our channel need to be named BNN, the Bud News Network. And so if there's Terence Crawford news out there, apparently we have to cover it because that's what we do. And when we don't, and we do something different, they start to complain that why aren't we covering Terence Crawford? It's so interesting. But we've really articulated our position as it relates to this particular fight. I did so again at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this past Sunday, and we do it every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live for about 2.5 hours. Make sure you come and join us because guess what? You get the opportunity to call in, you get the opportunity to join the panel and give your opinions in a non-hostile environment. That's what's so great about this channel. Your opinions, if they differ from ours, that is okay. But we talked about this, had several Terence Crawford fans on the panel, and we talked about, the potential of the fight, how the fight could possibly play out, etc. And I've been on the record for quite some time saying that Terence Crawford has an uphill battle, period, end of story. Now, many people think that Terence Crawford just has the skill set to beat Canelo Alvarez, which I do not argue with. But I believe there's appropriate context that you have to use when you're deciphering what's going to happen in this fight. And I feel that many people have not necessarily used that context. And so when people are not looking at that context, they believe that Terence Crawford will be able to come in, give him angles, counterpunch him, catch him with something he doesn't see, potentially knock him out, even though this guy, we haven't seen him hurt in quite some time. And those same people that'll talk about Canelo Alvarez and the potential to hurt Canelo Alvarez will say that he was hurt once in his career against Miguel Cotto's brother, but then will totally dismiss or get offended if you start to refer to the situation or the incident that happened with Terence Crawford and Gamboa. Make that make sense. But at the end of the day, Terence Crawford is a highly skilled fighter and one that, if he's using the right angles, if he's getting in and out of range, and he can outlast Canelo in terms of not allowing Canelo to wear him down with body punches or just the overall weight, wearing him down to an extent where he can't continue to execute at a high level, then yeah, Terence Crawford has a chance to win. And this is just my personal opinion. Now, what's so interesting and the reason why I want to bring up this gentleman specifically is he doesn't feel that Terence Crawford can win at all. As a matter of fact, let me bring up the quote that he has here. I want to make sure that I read this verbatim because I don't want the Bud Crawford fans to become upset that I did not read this correctly. He said, Canelo should win. I see Canelo beating Crawford by a convincing decision. There is no way Crawford beats Canelo. Now, who said that? Of course, it's the gentleman in your far left-hand corner. It's Joel Diaz, right? And what's significant about what Joel Diaz is saying, and I did not even realize this until I saw this posted, was that Joel Diaz was one of the masterminds behind the brilliant performance of Dimitri Bivol when he faced off against Canelo Alvarez. That's right. You guys like to talk about that fight a lot. Well, Joel Diaz was in the corner of Bivol as he was executing that game plan. Bivol brought him in specifically for that fight. Also, Joel Diaz was the individual in the corner of Israel Madrimov, the guys that you thought were the best, was the best fighter at 154 pounds, according to Terence Crawford fans. Had never heard of the guy prior to that, but then all of a sudden when Bud faced him, all of a sudden now he is the best fighter at 154. Before he fought Bud and post Bud. But if you ask most Bud fans, prior to that fight, they didn't even know who the hell Israel Madrimov was. Make that make sense. But Joel Diaz has a very unique perspective on these two particular fighters. Joel Diaz has scouted Terence Crawford. He knows Terence Crawford's skills, his weaknesses, his strengths, understands his counterpunching ability, his power, his elusiveness, etc., etc., etc. He understands all those things. He understands Canelo, his strengths, his weaknesses, his power, his skills, etc. So it's interesting because many of you will take Israel Madrimov and elevate Madrimov up here as though Madrimov is some freaking killer, and that his skill set was so high that that movement and that skill set would give Terence Crawford issues, right? That Canelo's skill and abilities will not. But Joe Diaz basically has it a landslide for Canelo. I'm quite sure he knew it wasn't going to be a landslide for Israel Madrimov. So clearly, Joel Diaz, someone who has analyzed all these guys, sees something that you guys do not see in regards to Canelo Alvarez versus Israel Madrimov. So I think he brings a very unique perspective to the fight. Now, personally, again, I do not believe that Terence Crawford has absolutely no chance in this fight. I think if Terence Crawford executes the correct game plan, which I believe those guys probably know what that game plan is, then he can potentially win the fight. However, being able to execute it, having a game plan and having the correct game plan and being able to execute it on fight night are two different things. And the context, which I referred to earlier, are some of the reasons why I believe that it will be very difficult for him to execute whatever game plan they have because of weight. And I'm not talking about just Canelo's, Crawford's weight, his size, his conditioning will all be changed and affected when he gets into the ring at 168. And it'll also be affected by Canelo Alvarez. The pressure he applies, the punches that he lands on the body and arms and all those different things can also create a challenge. So we'll see what ends up happening. But unique perspective from Joel Ortiz, one that I wanted to put out there because I think his perspective is one that no one else has. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and I am